Most Sundays I feel full of the Spirit. Gospel music blasting in the background as I prepare myself for the Lord. I clap excitedly in the pew, clinging on to every word of the sermon. I leave the service joyful, hopeful that the sermon spoke to me. I leave the service feeling happy, hopeful. But as soon as I pull in my driveway, those feelings subside. I quickly pour myself a glass of tequila and squeeze a pinch of limes into my glass. The Spirit didn't leave, it just digresses. It goes back into the background of my soul. I suppose this is what it means when they say lukewarm. I am Sade the writer, and this is Black of the Berry podcast.
Oh, that's fire.
I am Dean. That is the Madman Los. And we got a very special guest in the goddamn building. Her name is Sade the writer. Los, do me a favor. Cue that motherfucking applause. How are you doing, ma'am? Thank you for stopping by and coming to the Berry Gang land.
Yes. Of course. Thank you for having me. It is a pleasure, honestly.
Happy birthday to Black of the Berry. Black of the Berry is 2 years old right now. So it's the terrible twos year right now.
Literally.
They are terrible.
No, like literally.
You have a whole.
Yeah.
You muted yourself.
Yeah.
No one heard that last thing because you muted yourself.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So I was saying, you have a whole kid, so you know how terrible the twos are.
Yeah, they're rough. They're rough.
We about to get real, beyond our behavior for the second year, third year now. But so yeah, let's dive right into that piece, man. Like,
and now, quick question for you, Sade. Now, this piece you said was in direct, you and Los, y'all had a conversation on Wind Down with Los's that happens every Thursdays on IG Live at 10 p.m. I just wanted to know. I do this, Los. I do this. I just wanted to know. Let's kind of what was the conversation that y'all were having for the people, so that we can kind of catch them up and we can all just kind of dive right into.
Yeah. So. I honestly forgot how it started, but we started talking about spiritual, religion, and whether or not the Bible is a book of history or if it's a book of metaphorical parables, references that you use to reference your life. David went through this and I'm going through this, so I will get through it because he got through it, or is it actual factual things that happen to these people? And I went, I was telling Los, I went to Christian school, I went to Christian elementary school, Christian high school, and Bible class. I learned all about the Bible and all the stories. Yeah, and everything. I went to Southern Baptist Church, and so I grew up in that. And then as I got older and surrounded myself around people of different religions, Muslims, because a lot of I don't want to sound shady, but a lot of the Muslims where I live in CI, and they converted in jail, so it's a different type of faith, you know what I mean?
Different dialect.
Yeah, it's a different kind of, you know what I mean? We don't really know if if we don't know if they found Allah because they really wanted to worship Allah, or if they found Allah to protect that asshole. But either way, we know.
Listen, at the end of the day, all praise be to Allah. Okay?
Yes, amen. All right. So, and one of the most genuine people that I met was this girl from East Africa, Muslim, and she showed me that Islam is not this thing that the media makes it seem to be, or that I knew it to be. And just meeting people of different religions and spiritual beliefs, and I'm well, not every Christian, but a lot of the Christians that I know live this life on Sunday. And then every other day of the week, it seems to be a completely different person versus, for example, the woman that I met in school, Islam was her lifestyle. It wasn't a thing that I pray 3 times or 5 times or whatever, and that's it. No, this is everything, what I eat, how I speak, how I treat people, what I, everything, how my relationships with men, all of that's incorporated into her lifestyle. It's not a one day type of thing, you know?
Yeah, well, you know what though? I do. All right, so because I come from a background similar to you, so I got like my family is heavy into like Southern Baptist Church. I got also Pentecostals too, so I got a ton of reverends, pastors, and bishops in the family. And then I went to college. Yeah, it's a lot of them. Then I went to college, and then was like 3 credits away from a religious studies minor. You know what I mean?
Oh, wow.
So really heavily studied Judaism as well as Islam, and then Christianity. Now, to your point, when it comes to Muslims going hard, like living that life 24/7 versus Christians who mostly do it on Sundays, I think that it depends on the Christian that you're talking to. Because like I'm thinking of like,
what kind of Christian you mean?
Yes, because for instance, like we used to have a podcast called Unspoken Truth, and one of our other co-hosts, Sleaze or Steez, depending on the day, that was his name. His mom, like his whole family, rock out for Jesus, but his mother, like you could smell it, but not in a negative manner. You see what I'm saying? It's like she lived that, like you just knew, like when she walked in the room, that's a woman of God. Like like you don't want her getting on her knees asking God to handle you, because He gonna handle you. Like that's the kind of
She got a personal covenant.
Yeah.
Her God's like this, son.
You can just smell it on her. So I don't like to say that what it is. There aren't Christians out there living like that, because they are. I just think that what it is that a lot of them in our generation that we're seeing, it's like y'all ain't shit. Or we have seen, the pastors and the deacons, we have seen them acting one way on Sunday and they got 14 wives, 8 different kids,
stealing
families, stealing money from the church. You done had building fund going on, ain't no money going into the building fund.
No, there's no building.
That happens, but I think that we're not able to pick out the Muslim ones, for instance, because we're not so versed in that culture. But I guarantee you it goes on, because all these religions are the exact same to me.
Yeah.
Like if we really want to really want to take it down.
Yeah, no, I feel the same way. Like I think at the end of the day, because I took a class, like every holy book in every different religion pretty much has the same thing. At the end of the day, just be a good person and you'll live this happily ever after, like afterlife, right? So like, why is there all this divide? That's why I am trying to distance myself from that whole like religion thing. Like, I don't consider myself a Baptist. I just consider myself a spiritual person. I believe in God. I believe that I was divinely created. He created everything around me. Like, I believe in all of that. It's just some of the practices, like, and I like the communion, like all that stuff. Like, I don't know if I necessarily need to engage in all of those things,
And I agree with that, to your point, because I'm my parents are Rastafarian, so I've been more spiritual than anything,
Hold on. This whole time I fucking have known you, and actually this year would have been 10 years. So we're going on 10 years of motherfucking friendship, even though that first year was a little rocky. Like,
about to sip some tea right now.
The first 6 months a little rocky. We ain't gonna talk about that. How the fuck am I just now finding out your people's a Rastafarian, son?
You never knew that?
Swear to God, nah. Where are his bonds?
Yeah, I've said it multiple times, bro.
They're fucking Rastafarians, nigga.
Yeah. Well, you know what it is? It's like they're not as practicing anymore. Like when they were younger, they were more like rooted into the. But even like you said now, like it's a lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? Like, my dad says God bless. He don't say God bless. You know what I'm saying? When the prophet to us is King Selassie. It's not Jesus, not anybody else. So that's the thing with that. And there's a whole different thing. I kind of adopted it, but I don't practice it heavily. Like I still eat meat and all the other stuff, but I really I identify with the spirituality side of it. But like I said, to Sade's point, like
This is the illest shit ever. This is the most baller shit ever, nigga.
How are you so fascinated? But I thought you
you gotta come on Conversations with Dean now. It's a wrap. You gotta come on Conversations with Dean. We gotta break this thing down. I had no fucking clue. I had no idea, bro.
So what do you think this whole time? What do you think my parents were just Catholic?
No, I thought that they were raised Catholic, and they were like, you know what? Because you know you're Caribbean. So I was like, all right, they were probably raised Catholic, and said, you know what? To hell with this fuckery. we have a whole conversation on Catholicism because that shit in itself is witchcraft. We'll talk about that later. But I thought that I said it.
No one's arguing it. No one's arguing it.
No, that wasn't to y'all. I'm talking to the other people who watch.
Oh, to the viewers. Right.
No, I don't give a fuck. So I thought that they was like, you know what? We don't want to practice witchcraft no more. And so they just decided not to. You know, you were raised with a good moral compass and you believed in God. But I just never thought they had a formal religious structure. Just off based on our conversation. But now, you're a historian. All this shit makes sense.
I'll break it down for you even more. So at first, when my parents first came over here, they my mom tried to be Christian. So when I was coming up, when I was younger, I used to go to Sunday school and all that. But it was literally only the first couple of years of my life, 5, 6, and then I was done with it. But at the end of in the back of my mind, my dad was always this is how he felt, So it's he's a fond believer in the spiritual, aspect, and my mom is too, and they both believe in God. But it's just at this point, I feel like religion is necessary to give people a sense of guidance and a sense of self-accountability. But besides that, there's no need for it because it's you're bickering over what is holy and who's the prophet, and it's it's the same story anyway.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So it's as long as you believe in God and you have a great moral compass of being a good person and doing this and doing this.
It shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter. And I went to a 7-day Adventist elementary school, and they pretty much made me feel like I was going to hell because I went to church on Sunday. Legit, praying for me and my soul because I went to church on Sunday, and I was scared that I made my mom take me to church on Saturday because I really thought I was doomed for hell. That's what religion does.
I ain't gonna lie, that church shit was a dub though. I couldn't go to the church every Saturday, Sunday, Wednesday. It's too much for me. I was I don't want to go. I never wanted to go.
One, I think when it comes to church, you know what I'm saying? They have that many, for Baptists at least, in Pentecostal, you have that many services, you need to go to all those services. You just go to the ones that you would want to. But really I want to go into something that Sade said. I kind of want to dissect that a little bit more. My sister, when you were saying how you went to a school, a 7-day Adventist school, but you are, Southern Baptist. So they were giving you hell. That speaks to my larger point on just religion and what I mean by it's all this big game of telephone that we are all getting wrong, but we're only getting right certain parts of it. And what I mean by that is
12 disciples born in 3 days, come back to life, all that.
No, not even
immaculate conception.
I'm gonna take it a step further because it's just not Christianity. I mean religion as a whole. All religions think it's a big game of telephone. Because because every religion, there is never just one set way to do it. There's always different sectors. Somebody interprets it differently, and then they start this whole group, and then they do things different. Be honest with you, Jehovah, the Jehovah Witness religion and the 7-day Adventist religion. Excuse me, I know Jehovah Witness religion is relatively young.
Yeah, I think they're the newest.
Right?
Are you ready? Are you ready for Jehovah's return?
I actually took some classes.
But now, I'm not going to get into that. I do want to get into that. That's good later. But if for instance Christians,
are you guys ready for Jehovah's return? I'm go to sleep, lady. It is 6 a.m. on a Saturday.
They never really knocked at my door that early. I won't. They usually came around 8, 9, something normal.
A decent time.
Saturday. It's a
Yeah,
Saturday.
they
10
come
p.m.
to my house once.
Is I don't wake up before 10 on a Saturday. I'm sorry, especially back then. I'm a kid.
See, growing up, like, you know, well, and still, like, you know, to this day, like, you know, one of my best friends, Marcus, he's a Jehovah's Witness, and my mother had, you know, him put our name on the list so that they wouldn't come bother us no more, because she told me to.
Oh, there's a list.
Yeah. So she had me go to school and then tell him.
Oh, there's a
like,
list.
yo,
I didn't know there was a list.
Yeah.
I thought you was gonna say that he put you on the list to go, because there's only like 1,600 or something like that. 16, something with a 6 in it.
Yeah,
That's gonna go.
oh yeah, like the 160,000. Nah,
Yeah.
He just put us
Like
on
he
the
got
list.
the in.
Nah, he just put us on the list so that way nobody will come bother us. So my mother took
Oh.
and I was like,
I'm
yo,
about to say, because Mama Brenda was probably cussing up a storm. I tell y'all every Saturday, don't come back to the house. And yet y'all still come. How
come
many
back to this
times
motherfucking house this motherfucking time.
No.
She loves the word motherfucker. That's why I love it.
Really? No, literally.
But,
I
back to it. If, you know, just for all you people who are just OD religious, we just want you to think about it like this. If you in your own religion, whether it be Christianity, Hindu, you know, you're Muslim, you're Buddhist, I don't even care. There is so many different there's so many different ways for you to practice that in your religion that you can't even agree on in your own religion the right way to do this thing moving forward. What makes you think that your religion is the only and one right way? What I think what happened is that there was this, you know, there was a God. Certain acts happen because if you think about it, when it comes to the major religions, right? When you come to Christianity, Islam, and Judaism, you can't get one without the other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You can't. It doesn't happen.
And they all have the same people in it.
So what happened? What happened that it just was this big ass split that motherfuckers like, you know what? This is the right way. This is the right way. This is the right way. But then you even got to think about taking a step further, because even the Jesus Christ that everyone knows to this day and age, there was 32 of them. Hey, don't be disrespectful now, God. You ain't got to do all that. They are still, you know.
I don't think, did they even see me?
Yeah, they may have not. Yeah, whatever. But so there was 32 others, you know, that had that same title. But the Jesus Christ that everybody knows, the 33rd one, who died on his 32nd birthday, even you think about it, he was a Jew before that all happened. So then what happened before that even created Judaism? Or is Judaism just some fucked up religion?
Well, I thought.
If Judaism is a fucked up religion, doesn't that mean everything else is a fucked up religion too? Because you need that in order to get everything else. Am I right? So then that just makes it all either it's all a hogmash, or we really got to have a conversation. Because Judaism was around, was preceded. Now we all know there was religion before Judaism. That even Judaism must have took that from. But you see what I'm saying? It's just this big ass game of telephone that nobody's getting right.
I just think that if you look at the ancient civilizations, right? Like the early civilizations
that originated in Africa.
They had a spiritual system, right? Like the sun, the moon, the wind, like they just appreciated the earth and nature, right? Like they knew that there was something greater than them that created them, and to respect other living, breathing things. Like I just feel like why is it so complicated?
And like that's what I'm saying. Like
humans ain't shit.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. If aliens came by, the aliens just driving by, and they're like, look, Earth, let's take it over. And they're like, no. Earth they still fight over who's God. You know what I'm saying? Like they got way bigger problems on their hands.
Those are the motherfuckers who did it to us. If we
the aliens, you think so? You think they made the pyramids?
The Anunnaki? He's talking about the Anunnaki.
Let's be honest. You think about the Anunnaki, right? But then besides that shit, where do we get some of this technology that we have from? Humans made some crazy advancements. Like what? Okay, let's just look at time, right? So you have the cell phone, which I'm now able to call you, and we instantly can connect. We have this that we're able to talk through virtually like this, that we're able to instantly connect. Like these technologies, right? That was not available now. And I know people are gonna say that, oh, well, you know, they made computers. Like, you know, when they made computers, what that was like in the 70s, or maybe no, it had to be earlier than that, because they used computers for the NASA trip. So what was that?
Like the old computers. The
is made because you gotta because
the supercomputer.
like everything kind of went normal and then we had this crazy jump going into 2000. Actually, no,
what jump?
2000. I would say like in the 80s and 90s we had this huge gap of technology that kind of came out.
So you think they came?
80s they made the microwave. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? The gap in technology.
I was trying to understand.
No. Okay, I'm saying it wrong. So the government is X amount of years ahead of us.
Right.
Okay.
Right? In technology. So you got to think about it I'll put it in the easier terms. In 2006, I remember reading an article because I was in high school. Actually, no, it would have been like 2007. 2007, I read an article saying that in 2011 or 2012 or some shit like that, that lasers were going to be equipped to, United States, equipment.
Weapons. Yeah.
Right? Now,
Plasma
if they
weapons.
had that in 2006, if they are letting us know in 2006 that we're going to release this in X amount of years, where do you think that they had to be in the 90s to get there?
Okay.
I see what you're saying.
I watch Transformers, so like, I'm a big fan of Transformers, and
shout out Michael Bay.
And
hold on. One more thing for you on your Transformers, just to get an easy point. We already admitted that fucking aliens are real and that we have some fucking and that we have some of their fucking technology.
That's concrete evidence.
Yeah, Google it.
I do believe that there's things out there for sure.
We may not have admitted the tech one, but we definitely admitted that extraterrestrial life is real. Like they admitted the sighting. You don't remember this shit? They did it during
Google it.
All right.
I don't trust nothing on the web.
No, but I don't remember them ever admitting. I just remember them.
They just did it last month.
They did?
Yes, I'm Googling it right now.
No, here's the thing.
Can I share my screen with y'all? Oh yeah, it's perfect. I'm about to Google something.
I'm not denying the fact that there's extraterrestrials. I'm not denying that fact.
Yeah, I believe
I'm just saying I would never think that we would say, hey, we're not alone. You know what I'm saying? Because then it's like
it would cause panic.
Right.
I'm sharing my screen.
You already have people who are concerned about science.
Give me the option.
Religion.
I'm about to show you, son. Give me the option. I'm about to show you, God.
I really don't care about this, to be honest with you.
Pentagon officially releases because it goes into the whole technology conversation that I was having, and just how these aliens are the ones that originally fucked us over.
Mm-hmm.
Because first of all, where do we even come from? Like, who is God? And where does he come
beam of
from?
light.
But then why is God okay with so much stuff you have to just think about this for a second, because one, I think that we romanticize God too much as well. The same God who does well for you is the same God who then kills a baby. It needs to happen, but this is the same dude.
Listen, I don't know if you ever watched The Lion King, bro, but it's a circle of life, man. It's the everlasting circle of life.
So
every 8 seconds a baby's born. You know what I'm saying?
I think that, even in the Bible, right, if you want to go back to the book, it says that I am a jealous God. I am this person. I am that person. But I am also, I think it's like, I just got a thought. Maybe like the devil, right? Because they make it seem like God is good, right? And the devil is bad.
Mm-hmm.
But if people are naturally like, there's that duality in humanity, like maybe there isn't a separation, maybe he is, or you know what I mean, like maybe he's like, maybe there is no devil, right? There's
I'm entertaining this.
That just popped into my head, actually.
I won't put God and the devil into the same place.
He created him essentially. If you think about,
he was an angel.
If you subscribe to the story.
Yeah, true. Yep, he was an angel. And then he had to banish him. He had to banish him from heaven. But you know what though? I guess
I'm listening.
I can't allow myself to say that. But what I will say, I'll go down this route with you. This is what I will go down. When I say that we romanticize God too much, is I think that there's a lot more. Like I believe that God is a lot more black and white than what we like to believe. And that a lot of the stuff that are in all of these books are literally man-made concepts to just try to get us to prescribe to it. But really, God is like, you got to think about it. Like, think about CEOs. They run companies, right? Mm-hmm. They're responsible for tracking data, yada yada yada. Like, you're keeping the company going forward. God is that times infinity. Like he not only controls everything, he knows what you're going to like. You have free will, but then he knows what you're going to do. So then, do you really have free will? And then when
that's
you
a whole other conversation.
And then when you think about it, then when you think about it, and you really kind of want to break it down, it's like like I said again, the same dude who'll kill a baby will also bless you. You know what I'm saying, in some kind of facet. But then also is the same dude who was allowing systematic racism to happen in America, and then also allowing homeless people to be on the street and then kids to die. But then yet this is the same guy who has also done so much positive as well as negative. So it's like, I don't think that, I think that we romanticize him too much, and that he's a lot more black and white than what it is. And then to be honest with you, is there a heaven? Yes. But then I really think that like we get judged. Like I think that, the purgatory thing is like the Catholics got maybe like a tad bit right, in the sense of like, I think that what happens is like, if you're like a scumbag, then you're done for. Then like, you go to hell, or like a version of hell, whatever the case may be. If you're really, really, really good and you pass the trials, then yeah, you're fine. But then like reincarnation with the, Buddhists, and then the purgatory with the fucking Catholics, we merge them together. What I think happens is like we get judged, and it's kind of like, you didn't do that well. But since you did okay on this level, you get to come back at this next level. Whatever that level may be. He's still going to give us the same trials and tribulations, because this earth is purgatory.
Now, here's my thing. I wonder.
That's what the Jehovah's believe. They believe that this is hell, and that there is no actual hell, like, that's described in the Bible.
Like hell is earth.
Yeah, they believe that this is hell, and that people that are like bad are just here when like the second coming comes. Like right. That's what I got from the couple of studies that I went to.
Or just a quick second. We got 9 minutes right now, and then it'll end, and then we'll cut it. We'll start it up again. So I have the timer running, so I'll just interject when we're about to run out. But yeah, so let's speak to I'm a little curious on what you think the afterlife looks like. Sade, what do you think? Like, do you think like what happens? Do you think we get reincarnated? Do you think that we just we're in an astral projection? Are we what do you think? You know what I'm saying? Your personal belief. Have you thought about it a lot? Or
I have, because I mean, you know how like the elders in your family will say like, oh, that person is just like Aunt so and so. Like,
yeah, you've been here before.
Yeah, you've been here before. That whole thing, like, that makes me believe in reincarnation. I can't say that I 100% believe that that's like the only thing though, because I do believe that if you live a good life and you're a good person, that I don't think heaven is like a physical place. I think it's like you're in this dream state of bliss.
Oh, state of mind. Rather.
Yeah, like I think it's like a mental thing. Like, and if you are bad, like hell is this eternal, like, mental trap. Like, do you guys watch Lucifer?
No, but I've heard it's a crazy
it's pretty good. So pretty much like the way that
they takes a human form.
Well, this is what happens. Well, yeah, but hell, they visit hell, and like hell is like people keep replaying like all the bad things that they've done to people. Like, it's everything bad that they've done is like happening to them. And it's like a never-ending cycle. Like, that's what hell is. Like, that's how they describe it. And I was like, that kind of, like, makes sense, because to me, I believe that heaven is this mental, like, happiness. Everything's good. I see my people that died and whatever, like, you know, whatever you feel puts you the most at peace. That's what I think. But I don't think it's like a physical like place that we're gonna be
like the gates are opening up and you're like in clouds and it looks like Olympus.
Yeah, I don't think that. I don't. I think it's more of a mental thing. Cause that's more scary, like being trapped, you know, like in your mind.
Yeah. In a loop, in an endless loop of just getting fucked over.
I would not want to be there. Yeah.
Ooh. So let's shift gears here for a second because we got to the spirituality of the sister, but I wanna get to. I think I just came up with the episode title. I want to talk to you about how does this affect your writing and your thinking in terms of your outlet or your art.
Like my spiritual beliefs.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of the things that I write, I don't tell my family about.
Even.
No, it's because like
talking about sex and whatnot.
I'm not a Zane, you know, I don't get all crazy. But I mean there's some stuff in there that they're like, you did that? Like, is that you? I'm like, nah, it's fiction. Of course. But I think that I struggle with like writing about certain aspects because I'm like I feel like I'm supposed to like be this person, you know, and I shouldn't be writing about these things even though I feel like these things happen to me and I think that someone else can connect with it, but I struggle with like even writing this book, like side pieces, right? The title is kind of like salacious a little bit, right? Yeah. And it was like a struggle for me to even say like this is the title, this is what I'm gonna do, these are the topics that I'm writing about, because I feel like, you know, people in my family look at me in a certain way. So yeah, it's a struggle, but I'm trying to like, I guess, be more comfortable with like every part of me. You know, I'm not just one person. I'm like, there's multiple facets of who I am.
Oh my God, you can say that a fucking thing. God damn it. God damn it. You were talking some shit. I internalized what you were saying. I definitely come up with not with the podcast, but there's definitely an aspect of my life where it's just like, yeah, I hear you.
So is it hard to separate, like step out of that so can you give us like an example? Like, yes, you did with the title of the book, but is it just like the content and like what you're actually writing about? It's hard to separate from your actual like personal life, you know?
Well, okay. For instance, when I was writing the book and when I was finished, I told all my friends about it. Like, I told like my cousins that were my age, you know. Mm-hmm. But like, I was nervous to even tell my mom, like, and because I feel like she thinks that I'm like this, you know, her daughter. Like, you know, like, even though I had a kid, like, you know, clearly I'm outside, like, you know, but it's not. I'm outside. It's not.
I'm outside.
You are so grown. Hold on. That was a grown ass woman.
We outside.
That was some grown shit.
But you know what I mean? Like, it's still like your mom, like, you know, so it's it's hard. But I mean, I feel like when I do write things that are personal and close to me, that I get a response that makes me feel like, okay, this is what I need to continue to do because it is helping other people. So I don't want to shelter that part of me in my art because I feel like art is supposed to be this expression. This old school poet, Wordsworth, said that poetry is supposed to be like the spontaneous flow of emotion. Like, you're not supposed to think about it, you're supposed to write. You know, and that's how I feel. Like, I'm trying to not be as afraid, pretty much. Just be more confident.
So can we is it safe to say that you may participate in Poem Hub Fridays?
I didn't even know about this thing. You mentioned it before, but I didn't know anything about it. Like, listen, how can I get down?
Okay, let me break it down for you. All right. So I don't seem too thirsty. Poem Hub Fridays is an unofficial thing we have with the Color Colors, Feel Alive poetry. But Fridays is basically like the erotic poets and the erotic pieces. So instead of Pornhub, it's Poem Hub.
Oh, I see what you did there. Gotcha.
Poem Hub Fridays. So that's when you talk. That's where the imagery comes up. That's where the sexiness comes up.
It's not that crazy. Like I said, I don't write like super wild things.
No.
It's very like innuendos or like things like that. Cause I've never even been that person. Like in my friend group, yeah, I talk about it, whatever. But like I've never actually explicitly said blah blah blah. You could just put two and two together.
Right, yeah, and you kind of and that's kind of a talent too, because sometimes it's like you can like leave it out and then people still know what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but even when I say that too, I don't mean like erotic, because it could be sensual as well, and it's just like it's still pulling the same strings. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's not like,
dripping down my leg.
Yeah, splash, like open.
Like,
but maybe like he caressed my flower with the, like something like that. You know what I'm saying? So I just thought, because I love to hear the shit, and I would love to write one like completely fully like that. But yeah, I was curious to see if there was another poem hub participant there.
I'm gonna listen and see like what type of time y'all on, and then I'll see like if I could, I guess I gotta try new things, right?
Yeah.
So we'll see.
All right. So we have less than a minute, so I'm gonna end it real quick, and then I'm just gonna open up another one. So we'll take a quick commercial break. BTB will be right back.
Okay.
Back. Sade looking like a 1970s Black Panther.
My joint came out.
Here you go, sister.
I had looking like Tupac mom.
Listen.
I'm right here with you. You see me?
You gonna let it out? You gonna cut it as soon as the barbershop's open?
Listen, listen. You know what? We had a European ideology conversation yesterday about how we think that they don't want us to have long hair because it shows strength and wisdom and stuff like that. So they want us to have short hair and waves and stuff like that. So for the sake of being anti-establishment, I might have to grow it out.
Okay, all right, Samson, I see you.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
The power is in our hair. That's probably right.
Yeah,
I think there's some truth to that.
There's definitely some truth to that. But
I'm going back to being bald. I'm just keeping a big beard though, moving forward.
Yeah, beards are in. Keep the beard.
I don't remember anybody asking you. So
shut the fuck up. Fuck up. I choke you, nigga.
Yo.
Listen. It's all love. Peace, love.
Yeah. Bye.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm gonna take my medicine. I'm gonna take my medicine. I'm sorry.
Oh, I know. I see you hitting that joint. This is my medicine. Yeah. Tequila.
Okay. This is my medicine.
Is it Terramana? Tequila?
No, I tried to get down with the wave and try this Casamigos. Casamigos. That's pretty smooth. I usually drink whiskey, so I'm just on this quarantine. I'm just trying everything.
There we go.
So you say. Oh, anyway. So let's
good night.
Let's pick it back up with you explaining your book side pieces, where to get it. Maybe get one more poem out of that, and then I'll wrap it up with a poem for myself.
Okay.
And we can beat.
So Side Pieces is available on Amazon. I have the direct link in my bio, Instagram at Sade_the writer, and Sade is SADE, like the singer.
Classic.
What you say?
It's gonna be I was telling people, look in the description below.
Yes, exactly. And then this is my first collection of poetry. And it just details like just not being emotionally available or feeling emotionally incompetent for someone, and you feel like you're giving your all, you're only getting pieces, or you are an actual side piece. It just details different emotional situations.
So is this an ode to the side pieces? Were you talking out of experience for this book here?
Art imitates life, right? And I mean, there are some things that, I mean, I would say 95% of it is like, yeah, these are my actual feelings. Probably like 98%, not 95. But
let me tell you something. Somebody who ever made you a side piece is a fucking sucker. All right.
See, this is a situation. So just a little bit about me, because we just met,
right,
like a few months ago, actually, in person. But
yes.
I actually have a piece in here that I'll read in a little bit. But I grew up in I didn't see a lot of marriage, right? Like, okay. I didn't see a lot of like healthy relationships. Like, it was a lot of like people that work together. It just wasn't anything I wanted to emulate or imitate.
Okay.
So when I started dealing with men, I approached it from this, like, I don't really want to do this love thing, because the love that I saw was not anything that I wanted. Because that's what I thought love was, right?
Right.
And so, I willingly went into certain situations because I felt like it was easier. Because I don't have to worry about there being any emotional ties. I know what it is. You know what it is. Like, this is it, right?
So are you a side piece if you walk in knowing that already?
I think you still are. It's just a matter of knowing. There's some people, I haven't been in a situation where I didn't know. But, that's unfortunately a part of my life that happened, and a few times. But, and then, I got into a real relationship and that shit happened to me. So I'm like, God damn it, is this karma? Like, the circle of life. But yeah, so that's kind of how I approached it. And then I met like a really good guy, and I didn't feel like, because his parents were together, married, happy, like, at least from what he portrayed, right? And he
drop his at right now. I'm just kidding.
I thought about it for a second. I'm like, should I? Like, this is my big shot. Nah, he talked about his parents and like this like, he put them on such this pedestal. Like, I want to be married because my parents, and like the life, they travel, they do this, like, and I was really intimidated by that. Like, I felt like I couldn't be your mom because I don't even know like where to begin. Like, you have this template to follow, and I'm like figuring shit out as I go along, so I distanced myself from that person. Like, obviously he was a good dude, but like, I actually talk about him in the book too. But I distanced myself. He's solid. I thought about like reaching out, but I don't know.
BTB matchmaking.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready. Like, I just feel like I don't know how to be this person you want me to be. I don't know. Have you guys ever felt like that? Like,
is he chocolate?
He's caramel, like toasted caramel.
So is he black? I mean,
he's black. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I was like, caramel toasted. He's warm.
That's what I mean.
Warmed up.
That's what I mean by chocolate. I don't like.
Yeah.
Chocolate.
I was gonna say, he's not dark skinned, even though I do like dark skinned guy. But he's like, he's brown. He's a brown man, and he's like super brown.
You in trouble now, Dean?
Yo, what's good, Dean? What's up, then?
Oh, set it up.
Dean is in a happy relationship.
That's great. Yeah. I'm happy for you.
Thank you. Yeah. So Dean is staying away from all that. You know what I mean? I am just.
I don't want no smoke.
I don't want no smoke either, because I low key can't fight. So don't send me no trouble.
You look like a radical Black Panther. You're supposed to have a machine gun on the. I mean, you gotta have all that
on the side. Like, listen.
Yeah.
I never had to get into any physical altercations. Honestly, people really don't bother me.
Yeah, you look like a pleasant soul, so I could see that.
I'm pretty chill. Yeah.
So let's get into a piece, man. Let's close it out. Preferably about Homeboy. No, I'm kidding. I don't really want to hear about it.
Let me see. Hold on. Actually, where is he at?
Side pieces. You ain't never gonna be number one. Cause
Oh, here we go. You ain't gonna be another one. I'm done with you. All right. So none of my poems have titles. This is just on page 34.
Okay.
The terror of loving him kept us adrift. We were slowly fading away from each other's presence. He sought perfection in love. His parents still married. His grandparents happily married for years. He had no choice but to believe love was real. He never saw deceit. He never witnessed abuse. He didn't know what it felt like consoling a parent who was sobbing in pain from love's unkindness. I was afraid I wouldn't be able to live up to his fantasy. So I purposely gave him reasons to run. He waited in patience. My good guy. He was truly a prince. But I didn't think of myself as a worthy princess.
Oh, that makes me want to hug you. That makes me want to really like hug you. Like, it's gonna be alright, sister. You don't need him.
No, I mean, maybe. I mean, it's okay to need people. I think, he may have shown me things that I've never seen. I have a tendency to run, so. Probably was good for me.
You got a heavy flight.
Yeah, I'm a track star.
Oh, I was like, is that like a previous thing? Like, did you really run track, or are you just saying that?
Oh no, I always wanted to run track, but my school didn't have track.
In life, you run track.
And like from men usually. Oh, not life, but yeah, dudes in particular. Good relationships, I should say.
Oh, so for good relationships, you turn into like Addison Felix.
Same.
All right, cool. So I see you got a piece there. I'm a one up you and read another one of my pieces. This is a piece I just wrote, and I probably just performed last week. I did a cover for Janae Aiko's song "Surrender."
Oh, you know how much I love her.
Oh,
we talked about her, yeah.
Yes, this is dedicated to you then.
Oh, okay.
So it's called "Surrender." And mind you, you know how I go on my little my shit stories. So I'm gonna take y'all. You get in the back seat. We going on the ride. All right. Surrender. Senior year. No college acceptance letter yet. Just disappointment anointed from his parents. Yelling at them like, don't ever ignore me. You'll be sorry. Ran away from home and enlisted in Aiko's army. He felt invincible, saying to himself, even when unharmed, no one can harm me. His AK made him feel godly. Deployed in the Middle East, trying to stay cool, but it's 900 degrees. His pride was his weakness. He became a prisoner to his enemies. A terrorist group starved him for weeks. He thought the feeling of hunger would retire. They lied to him as they sent in a woman in full Muslim attire. She nursed his wounds till they were better. He gazed into her eyes as they planned their escape together. Weeks passed, he envisioned escaping and what would life would be. She responded, I'm the boss here, ain't no rush in me. They tortured and drugged him. She realized she loved him, but they could never be together under the eyes of Allah. Praying 5 times a day, hoping to find another way. Her ultimatum, surrender to Allah or never see the light of day. She spoke with the terrorist, thinking to herself, hell is not a place, but wherever the devil is. Dawn emerges. She meets up in his cell. Something isn't right. She seems urgent. She freed her man, sprinting out the cave as fast as they can. They crossed over the river. His anxiety, he's getting anxiety from not knowing where they're going. He responded, do you trust me? We're going to be free. Arrived at our destination, thinking it was a safe haven. Just another scary plot twist. Wes Craven. Same militiamen that held him captive. Astonished was his facial expression, wondering if she led to this. Astonished was his facial expression, wondering if she led him in this direction. All of that lovey-dovey stuff was all mush. I was trying to trust you. Let me read that again. All that lovey-dovey stuff was all mush. For you to trust me and walk right into this ambush. 19, never wrote a college paper. Seconds away from the eternal date with his maker. Closed his eyes and stuck his chin out proud, anticipating that gun going blow. He said, is this how it's going to be? She responded, you're American. You'll never be truly free. Americans are nationalists, but all pretenders. She pressed the gun to his forehead and said, now surrender. Surrender your soul, your mind, your heart, your body, your potentiality, your actuality, your spirituality, your reality. We get it all for free. Why can't we give it back so easily? Surrender.
I love the imagery and all of the things that you do.
Peace.
Like I'm there, I'm in the desert, like I'm there, like
you can see it, like
yeah,
he's luring him.
Now is that a literal thing, or did you write it in a space of like that we all get so caught up in like this thing that we believe in that we just don't surrender? Or
honestly, to be honest with you, I was listening to it, the song, and then I was medicated, so I was like really like impressionable at the time, and then it just started flowing, and then I kind of like, actually, you know what it was? I lied. I was listening to the song. I was really inspired, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna sit down and write to this, which is like I rarely don't do that. So I'm writing to it, and I'm kind of like, where am I going with this? You know? So I was kind of like, all right, let me do this. And then at the end, I'm like, yo, I didn't even know I was going on this journey, you know? Mm-hmm. So it's like, it's completely % fiction. It's nothing that I really, prior experience. I just think that is something that is dope. It's a crazy story. And it's just like, I think that at this point, I feel like that's my style of poetry is the storytelling, especially dark storytelling. Like I'm really good at that shit.
You're like the really Slick Rick of poetry.
Okay. Talk to me nice. Okay. That's listen. I'm not worthy of that one. The Slick Rick of poetry?
Yeah, because you like give all. Yeah, they wouldn't even get that. They wouldn't get that. But
we here with it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So like at least from the pieces that I've heard, they're all like very vivid, and it is legit a story. Like I'm there. I feel like I'm there. I can see everything happening in front of me. Like I love it. I like the way you're.
So you tell me I'm about to become a movie director? Is that what you're saying?
You can. Why not?
Yeah, it can happen. I'm actually working with Marissa. We're gonna turn my piece Plug's Daughter into a short story. So be on the lookout for that. Mad Good Flicks. Mad Good.
They just started their Instagrams at Mad Good Flicks.
Yep.
Them out.
Yep. So
always gotta show the homie love, and then at Ryan Photography, show him some love too.
Yeah. So nice.
Go check them out.
Yeah, that's dope.
So one more time, where is Sade Pieces available? How much is it? Where can I go get it right now? Well, I got it.
So it's on Amazon. Sade Pieces is what it looks like.
Sade Pieces.
It's on Amazon, but you could just follow me on Instagram at Sade_the writer, and then the direct link is right in my bio, so you can click it and get it. It's $9.99. Yeah, it's great. And write a review when you read it. 5 stars.
Okay. 5 stars always. Support Black business, y'all.
Yes, please.
You make sure y'all give her a 5 star, and you make sure you like and subscribe to this fucking podcast, and you make sure you give us 5 stars on fucking Apple Podcasts. We need that out here, motherfuckers. Y'all make sure y'all check us out.
You know what I mean? Happy birthday, Black of the Berry.
I know. Congrats, y'all. This is a big deal.
Thank you for joining us for it. Well, I am Dean. That is the Madman Los.
We had a very special guest in the building. Her name is Sade. Y'all know her as Sade, the writer. It has been a pleasure, my sister, and we can't wait for you to come join us again.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Peace out.
Yes. It's actually paz, amor y pollo, but we'll get to it later.
America,
see,
motherfucker.
I became a
Peace,
pescatarian,
love,
so I don't
chicken.
eat chicken anymore.
Okay, so it's fish. It's
Hold on.
love and fish.
You're gonna interject and say you know what?
I can't knock it though. I can't knock it because the inner roster in me, we don't even eat meat. You know what I mean?
You're not supposed to. You're a fraud.
Yeah. Oh. She pulling punches now.
Nah, since this quarantine, I like changed a lot. I bought a juicer. I'm a pescatarian. Like a lot has changed. So
I'm proud of you. I'm proud
Thank
of you. One day, you'll find that man and you'll make him happy too, and y'all eat fish together. Y'all be in love.
yeah, say a prayer. Pray to whoever. Pray to whoever.
Yeah, right.
Say that for me.
All right.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right, y'all. Peace.